Hey Junior Power Kids, welcome to the clubhouse. It's Miss Dana and I am so happy to have you here to listen to another story from my very favorite book called the Bible. That's right, and whose book is the Bible? God's book. And yell really loud. How many books are in the Bible? 66. You guys are so smart. And it's broken into two parts, the Old Testament and the New Testament. Today's story is from the Old Testament, and it's about a man named Naaman. All right, so our story today, like I said, is about a man named Naaman. Can you say Naaman? Naaman, that's kind of the funny name, right? Well, Naaman was an important guy. He was in charge of the army. So he was used to being in charge and people taking his orders. Well, Naaman got really sick with something that had sores all over his body that hurt so bad. Can you just imagine if you had like boo-boos, sores that hurt really bad all over your body, and there was no medicine that could make Naaman better? And then somebody told him that one of God's special friends could heal him. And so Naaman got on his horse and his chariot, and he went to go see this man named Elisha. Can you say Elisha? Let me hear it. Elisha. It sounds a lot like Elijah, but we're actually saying Elisha. So Elisha was one of God's prophets. Remember, we've talked about prophets a lot lately. A prophet was somebody who was like a special worker for God, and a lot of times God would give them a message that they would give to other people. So Elisha worked for God, right? And so Naaman went to see him to see if he could be healed. And so Naaman got to where Elisha was staying, and Elisha sent a worker out and said, hey, all you need to do is go take a bath in the river 7 times. Well, this made Naaman super mad. Remember, Naaman was used to being in charge, right? He was used to giving orders to other people. Well, he didn't like that Elisha didn't come out himself, and he didn't like that he had to go take 7 baths to get better. He was angry. Let me see your angry face. He was so mad. So Naaman had to decide if he was willing to go take the 7 baths or not. And guys, listen, sometimes God's way is hard. Sometimes it sounds hard. Sometimes it sounds a little bit strange. But God's way is perfect, remember? Well, Naaman had to think about it. And when he was done being mad, he decided that he was going to follow what Elisha told him. So Naaman finally decided that he was going to jump and go God's way. So he went down the river to take his 7 baths. Now, we're going to pretend this is the river here, and I'm pretending to be Naaman. So I'm going to jump in 7 times. Can you count with me? Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And when Naaman came out that 7th time, his spots, his boo-boos, his sickness was all gone. He was completely healed. He had finally decided to go God's way, and he found out that God's way is perfect. Now guys, I'm going to remind you again, God's way sometimes isn't the easy way, right? Sometimes it's listening when we don't want to, or being kind when we don't feel like it. God's way isn't always the easy way, but it's always the right way. So guys, today and tomorrow and forever, the rest of your life, I want you to remember that God's way is perfect. See you next week.